Okay, hello everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining Lagartha. What is Lagartha? The Lagartha has to do with a religion called Lagarthaism, which is the title of this video. What is Lagarthaism? Okay, or Lagartha, that kind of thing. What is it? Well, you have to go way back. And I do mean way back to ancient times. You know, people had many gods. People worshipped many gods. That's what they believed. And then eventually that formed into the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire as well. And many other empires. In Africa, Asia, Oceania, South America, North America. And if you really want to go that far, Antarctica, but also Europe. Many groups have formed, and then eventually it went deep into what is now considered leftist ideology or communist ideology, and it was generally far left to believe in Lagartha, and it was generally, considered very extreme, always extreme, and it came from a cult that calls itself the Nation of Islam, and it originally had to do with the religion of Islam, but it separated into its own thing, and it originally had to do with a lot of stuff regarding their mythology, and basically they believe in like Yakub and stuff like that, and Yakub is like this big four-headed black-looking individual who's responsible for the original white race, and that's basically what it is. And then eventually it went into more right-leaning circles, but even then it was more of like, oh, you might have heard it every once in a while, or you might have saw it, nothing too big at first, and then eventually the movement started to get really big, Agartha, and there were many stuff like Alex Jones, he's really popular into that movement, and there are many things within it, but basically it believes that there is the true oldest kingdom within the center of the earth, has these elf-looking people, where one tongue, they speak every single language, including sign languages, to you. That's one of their tongues. The other tongue, they speak a language that is exclusive to that specific kingdom within the underworld. And basically, they're the original peoples. Okay, before they invented the white race, so to speak. Now, you might have seen them as white-toned, but that's just what they do as appearance. They're actually pretty dark-toned. They're the ones that listened to Yakub before his death, because he went up to the surface of the earth or whatever, but he eventually will come to revive within what is Lagartha. And when he does, at least according to the belief of Lagarthaism, Lagartha will rise once again, and, well, the battles will continue, It's a story that's never ended. It's infinitely diverse, infinitely changing, and infinitely, knowing, Like, there are a lot of things you have to be aware about. Internally diverse, meaning there are many groups who believe in it, there are many groups who don't believe in it, there are many groups who are not even aware of its existence. And then it's always constantly changing, meaning the morals or the beliefs or whatever will change over time, just like any other group. And it has been going on since basically forever. And Lagartha is just what they call it in English. It's just what they call it in the current modern languages. Okay? I have no idea because I cannot comprehend that kind of stuff. That's if what they're saying is true. Or at least the way they say it. Because, they're from that part of the world. And it's believed to be in the center of what is now the South Pole. But, nobody really knows for sure. Unless you've been there yourself. But, it's Agartha. It's goddamn Agartha, And I would say the face of the movement, or at least the face that sparked it into the mainstream, at least for people who would have otherwise not have known about it, was Charlie Kirk's death. And when Charlie Kirk, which is an individual that has to do with basically politics, this individual was a very, very famous guy, and they memed him a lot, but then when he died, they memed him a lot more, and then eventually that swam into this Agartha stuff, swam into far-right extremism, and when it started to go down that pipeline, eventually it got onto Charlie Kirk, and then that Charlie Kirk trend came around, and eventually you get to where it is today. And it's still constantly changing, so there's at least new lore being added every day, every hour, every minute, every second. There's new lore constantly being added all the time. Okay, there's updates all the time, every day, every single day and night, 24/7. There's always updates. Okay, especially now, given the current age we are in. Anyway, there's a lot of things I could have explained, but again, it is constantly changing, so you're just gonna have to keep up with whatever the latest stuff is. Now, you might not have known everything about Agartha, but you can know what the current stuff is going on, because the thing about Agartha is it doesn't expect you to learn everything about it. It just kind of expects you to already know. Like, if you truly know Agartha, you don't go look for it. You already know it, Like, that's basically the whole attitude for it currently. But I don't know if that will change. I don't know what it could possibly be. But all I know is it has formed a sort of religion out of this. But it's mainly considered a mythology, but mostly just because it's very, very new within the outer world, basically, or what they consider the outer world. In other words, any place that's not Agartha, or a part of Agarthaism. Anyway, there's not much to explain, at least not from me, because I don't personally know too much about it. It's not my specialty, but even if it was, again, there would most likely be a lot of things I wouldn't be able to explain to you for obvious reasons, and also just because there's a lot to Agartha. It's not like shallow, it's not like, oh, we're just saying it. No, I mean, like, you can study on one specific small thing that doesn't have a lot to it about Agartha, and still not have enough for a whole lifetime. Like, you would still not be able to, throughout your whole entire lifetime, be able to figure out every single thing about it. Because there's just so much to it. It would be like trying to study, like, one religion. Like, yeah, you could study it, but it's still constantly changing. So because of it, you have to at least keep up with the accurate information, or at least the information of those kind of groups, So there's no one way to truly interpret this. There is only many ways, okay? That can lead to the one way, as they call it, but as long as you're educated about this, you'll generally be fine. But even then, I do not know. But, shout out to the Anunnaki. Shout out to the, the GGs, and the Lagarthans, as well as some of the people who are involved in this worldview, and also anybody who's even interested. But yeah, that's all I got for today. But if you are interested, contact your local conspiracy theorist. Okay? And when I mean your local conspiracy theorist, I mean your local conspiracy theorist that knows a lot about Agartha. Alright? In real life. Anyway, that's all I got for today. And just remember, stay ugly.